Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to you. My name is Nick, and this time round we're looking at the Commodore Amiga, the 10 greatest vertical scrolling shoot 'em ups of all time. Well, according to me, that is. We'll concentrate on games that were just released on the Amiga A500 and upgraded, so we won't be looking at any on the AGA Chip-set, so sorry about that. A lot of these games come out roughly at the same time, so let's have a look to see what they are. And in 10th place on our list is XENON, published by Melbourne House in 1988. Looks a bit dated now, but back in the day it was all the rage. You can you can select between the aircraft and a ground-based vehicle. You need to switch between the two to get the best out of it. The end of level bosses are pretty tricky, but yeah, better was to come, in particular the sequel to this game. I played it a lot back in the day with friends, mainly because we didn't have really anything else to play, but it's fairly competent there, power-ups as you'd expect, nothing too special to write home about. Colour palette stays roughly the same. If you die, you tend to lose all your weapons, so keep hold of those. Doesn't use too much of the screen. Music is okay. There's a bit of an animation of a guy with glasses at the start. I don't know if he had anything to do with it. But the Bitmap brothers were involved early on, so there's a lot to like. Here's an end-of-level boss, and I don't think I ever destroyed this person. Don't know what he is. In 9th place, 1943, the Battle of Medway. Published by US Gold in 1989, or Go as it was called then. It's based on the arcade cabinet by Capcom from 1987, and the reason why I'm a little bit disappointed on this is it's okay until you see the arcade it was trying to reproduce, and it's lost a lot of the exuberance. It's a lot slower. These end of level bosses are a little bit boring compared to the arcade cabinet, although the colour palette is there. It could have been a lot better. Quite a lot of people complained that this conversion wasn't particularly good, and I have to agree with them. US Gold weren't the best when it comes to conversions. They made an absolute hash of Outrun as well, and that's why I've got this in 9th place. I'd like to have it higher up. I've got it for my PlayStation 3 as well, and it's much better than this sorry conversion. Music is okay, although it lacks a little bit of bass. 9th place. In 8th, we've got Dragon Spirit in our top 10. It's a little bit dark, but what's novel about this game is you control a dragon going across a fantasy land. It's a little bit slow as well, but one of the main flaws of this for me is if you look at the bottom there of the scores, there's a big blue dragon on the right, and that covers up a lot of the screen. It didn't really need to have that. Pace is a bit slow. If you compare it to future offerings on this list, you'll say, yeah, there were better ones available. This was published by Domark in 1989, based on the arcade cabinet by Namco from 1987. Curious enough, all these arcade conversions are from 1987, so shoot 'em ups must have been quite big in the late 80s and early 90s. Dragon Spirit is the only game on this list based on a fantasy sort of theme, although you could say there is another one coming up there. Good to control a dragon. Dinosaurs to destroy as well, turn them into skeletons, and that's that sort of thing. 7th place, Flying Shark, again from the arcades, published by Firebird in 1988. The arcade version was by Taito in 1987. The Spectrum version, it was all yellow, hard to see things. This is much better than that. Plays quite well, it is quite fast. Could have been a little bit better, but you're a World War I or World War II ace. I think World War I in this biplane here. It's quite tricky, the music is quite bouncy. There are better shooters out there, but this isn't by all means disastrous. I quite like it, in fact. Your blue biplane. You can relive the wars going over sea, going over land. There's some great end-of-level bosses as well, some tanks that come out. It's got the feel like it's been designed on a shoot-em-up construction kit, but I'm sure it hasn't done. Firebird have done quite well with this one, a lot to like. Kaboom! Power up, what does that do? Can't remember. Oh yeah, there we go, multiple fire. Gemini Wing. Your fighters like sea life and insects and a variety of the two. Moves about the same speed as Flying Shark, was a little bit more inventive, a bit more depth there. You can see on this canyon we're flying over. You're versus different creatures, so it wins over for originality. was published by Virgin in 1989, based again on the arcade cabinet by Tecmo from 1987. I haven't played any of these on the arcade cabinets, although I have seen footage of them. It's quite a unique power-up system here. Instead of just releasing your super bombs, they do collect up and it fires all in one go straight away, which is you can see in the box on the left. We've got no power-ups at the moment. Gentle music, could be a bit more funkier, but comes 6th place in the top 10. If you disagree with these, then put your top 10 below, or any that I've missed out. We're not including PD games. In 5th place, making up the vertical shooters, is a bit of a cheat really, because you could argue this isn't really a vertical shoot 'em up. You can go in all different directions, but we needed this to make up the top 10. It's by Psygnosis in 1991, not based on any arcade cabinet that I'm aware of. Graphics are great, it's extremely tricky. You must destroy everything using that radar on the right there. It's a good game. I don't think it's sold too many. It's a bit underrated by a lot of people, but Amnios is quite quality. You can go straight up, but as I say, all directions. So a bit of a cheat in the vertical scroller shoot 'em ups, but well worth a mention, so we put it in 5th place. The next 4 games after this are the granddaddies of vertical shooters on the Commodore Amiga, and they're a lot better than anything that's gone before. Shame there weren't any ones to rival those, really. Amnios. We're fighting over an alien landscape, I think. Number 5. So, entering the top 5. HYBRIS, a fantastic game, published by Discovery Software in 1989. Moves really fast, some interesting power-ups, doesn't use too much of the screen, but it's good. You can pick up bits to make your ship bigger. Lots of different weapons, as I say, to cycle through. I do know a cheat mode of this. If you want to look at any of these in greater depth, then check out my reviews on the channel. We reviewed them quite a while ago, so I might not have been in full flow then, but they're good to see. HYBRIS, it just goes on forever and ever, this game. Really inventive, really inviting. I like it better than any of the others, and the power-ups are quite good. You see that number 2 coming up, and you can pick up another bit of the ship. For some reason I couldn't do it there. Don't know why. HYBRIS, it does have a sequel, which is also on this list too. Great stuff. We're going over a desert here, but levels do vary and you go in well. Now this is a great game, XENON 2 MEGABLAST. Awesome music. Awesome graphics. Great play. Some people say this is overrated, but not in my book. After each stage you can, with your power-ups you picked up, or coinage, you can get upgrades for your ship. Very, very difficult again. Probably best with a cheat mode, and I did play this with a cheat in the review. A lot of people will have this at number 1, but heaps better than the original XENON that we had in 10th place. This is XENON 2 MEGABLAST. A lot of hours were spent on this, a big seller, again by the Bitmap brothers, published by ImageWorks in 1989, the same year as HYBRIS. The late 80s and early 90s were a boom time for shoot 'em up on the Commodore Amiga and the arcades as well. Bring back these times. Oh yeah! Brilliant stuff. Go, go, go. 2nd place, Swiv. The original Silkworm was a horizontal shooter. We will be doing next week the top 10 of horizontal shooters there, so if you've got any to mention, put them below. This was a great game too. It's slightly better than XENON 2 for my money, but it is very close. All these top 4 are absolutely super quality. In 2-player mode, which is a lot more fun there, one person controls a helicopter, the other person controls a jeep. I do love the original Silkworm, but this is great to see as well. Took the gaming world by storm at that point. 1991 this was, by storm, the sequel to Silkworm, as I mentioned there, where you must blow up everyone. The levels go on forever, there's no set stage, it just goes on and on and on, so no passwords or saves. So this was back in the day where you had to be brilliant at it, unless you knew a cheat for infinite power or strength. These end of level bosses or midway bosses will come every now and again. In number 1, Battle Squadron, the destruction of the BARRAX Empire. Now I've got this in 1st place because it's the sequel to HYBRIS, and the amount of power-ups for your weapons is absolutely phenomenal. It's the closest to an arcade game out of all of them that I can find. Playing this with a cheat mode on to show you all the different firepower You're in an alien world with various landscapes, and this game is absolutely awesome. If you're going to own just one shoot 'em up game on the Commodore Amiga, and it has to be a vertical scroller, then look for Battle Squadron, the destruction of the BARRAX Empire. And sure, they take a pasty. Great stuff. So that is my top 10 there. If you've got a different order, then put them below. If there's any games that I've missed out that you played back in the day, put them below as well, because I always like hearing from you. Vertical scrolling shoot 'em ups, and next week we'll have a look at horizontal scrolling shoot 'em ups. Excellent stuff. So third place was XENON 2 MEGABLAST, second was SWIV, and first Battle Squadron. So thanks for watching that video as always. I do like your comments. If you like what you see, then consider subscribing if you haven't already. Until next time, take great care of yourself and a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.